8 hours, 30 minutes. The Japanese panic and scatter. It's open season. They shoot at Doc and toward the American container. A hail of bullets smashes into Doc. He's annihilated. His quad continues to speed ahead. Doc falls forward, slumped over the handlebars. The out-of-control quad takes him on a bizarre final death ride towards the horizon. He leaves a trail of blood behind him. The Japanese regroup and take cover behind their vehicles. A Japanese man takes charge of the Humvee's M2 and screams out orders. The Japanese run to their vehicles. "Here they come," Books yells down to the Americans. "Doc! What about Doc?" Lloyd shouts. Books bows his head, shakes it. "They killed him." "Jesus fucking Christ, Books!" Lloyd erupts. "They didn't kill him! You fucking killed him! You let him go out there alone!" The Japanese quad picks up a passenger. He stands and balances on the Honda's rear foot pegs. In one hand, he carries an M16. With his other hand, he hangs on to the driver's shoulder. The quad is flanked by the Humvee on its left and the dirt bike on its right. All vehicles accelerate through the warm, still air. The passenger smiles to himself. His adrenaline rush builds. He begins to laugh, then laughs hysterically. He throws back his head and screams the Japanese war cry. "Tenoheika Banzai! Tenoheika Banzai!" All the Japanese now scream, "Tenoheika Banzai! Tenoheika Banzai! Tenoheika Banzai!" The convoy charges toward the Americans. The Japanese open fire. Books warns, "We got..." Bullets from the Japanese attack slam into the American container before he can finish. The noise is deafening. Instinctively, the Americans duck. Rounds of Japanese 12mm skim over Books' body. He flattens himself tighter against the steel roof. The American container clatters and vibrates as more and more Japanese firepower hits. Books remains unfazed. Above the racket, Sophia screams over at Lloyd. "Bugs tried to stop him! Doc was wrong!" She snarls. "You're wrong! Now pick up that gun!" "Bad day for morning sickness blues, lady!" Lloyd yells. Sophia sprints over to Lloyd and stands over him. She draws her pistol, arms it. The pistol makes a loud click as a bullet enters the chamber. She points the gun at Lloyd's head. She holds the gun steady. "You ain't got murder in you," Lloyd sneers. Sophia lowers the gun, points it at Lloyd's groin. Lloyd looks worried. Hey, you don't know what you're doing!" He calls for help. "Books! Books!" Sophia drops her aim again and pulls the pistol's trigger. The bullet just misses Lloyd's crotch and hits the ground. "Fuck, lady! Books! Help me here! She's fucking lost it!" Lloyd covers his crotch with both hands. Sophia trains her pistol at Lloyd's forehead. Her finger squeezes the trigger. "Pick up that fucking gun, or it's the last thing you do." It's a standoff. "We got no time for this," Jim yells over. Sophia maintains her killer stance. "Listen to the old man. We all gotta save ourselves here," Lloyd pleads. Jim picks up a mortar shell. Again, he tries to reason with Sophia. "Hey, he's not the problem. I need you and me. I need your help here." Sophia picks up Lloyd's discarded pistol and holds out the gun. "Take it." "Sophia, I need you here," Jim shouts. Sophia doesn't back down. Lloyd sees it. He reaches out. His hand trembles. He manages to clasp hold of the gun. He slumps backward against the container, then wraps his arms around his legs to stop them from shaking. Sophia turns and runs over to Jim. He passes her a mortar shell. "That was quite a move," Jim says. "We need everyone, even him." Sophia looks down at the shell. "So tell me how it works." "Just drop it down the tube, real smooth." "Okay." "Just watch me. I'll tell you when. Got it?" Sophia nods. She bites her lip and raises the bomb so it is poised over the opening end of the mortar's barrel. She waits for Jim's command. The Japanese incoming barrage becomes louder. Sophia talks to herself. "Keep it together, Sophia. Keeping it together. Come on, Sophia Smith. You can do this." Sophia zones out. She enters another world. She blocks the brutal surroundings. It feels good. The silence. A bead of sweat runs down her brow. then along the bridge of her nose. It drips off the tip and falls into the mortar's barrel. She watches it trickle down the sun-kissed, gray metal tube and evaporate. All that is left is a small, white crystallized salt trail. Sophia comes to. The sound of war explodes all around her. "Now!" Books cries out. Jim nods to Sophia. She drops her shell down the mortar's barrel. "Clear!" Jim shouts. Sophia turns away, shields her ears. Jim does not. He stands close by. He looks like a man enjoying himself, a man who feels alive. The mortar erupts with a massive thud. Jedi and Cutter copy. Their bomb also thuds as it blasts out of the barrel. "Away!" Jim shouts. The bombs arc over the Americans' container and head toward the Japanese. They explode. Boom! Boom! 1,000 yards out, but miss the Japanese. The impact gouge out large craters into the salt pan. Books shouts down, "3 clicks left! Back 25! Jim and Cutter reach down and adjust their mortars. Sophia and Jedi drop their bombs again. "Away!" 2 more thuds. The bombs launch over the container. "Clear!" "Hit! Come on, you motherfuckers!" Matt pleads. The Japanese are only 500 yards out. The American mortar bombs explode. Boom! Boom! They miss again, but are closer to the Japanese this time. Books shouts, "Another 15 back! Do it!" More rapid mortar adjustments. 2 more bombs. Thud, thud. The Americans are running out of time. Matt peers around the side of the container and out towards the incoming Japanese. "Come on now!" 1 bomb lands close to the Japanese bike and decimates it. Boom! The other bomb misses the Humvee. Boom! "We got one! We fucking got one!" Matt shrieks. The Japanese Humvee and quad split. Their attack run turns into a classic pincer movement. They are only 300 yards out from the American container. Books calls down to Jim and Carter. "Watching me now. Back another 10. Right 15. Steady now." He raises his arm. "Wait for me. You hear me? Waiting. Waiting. Now!" Books drops his arm. Again, the mortars let rip. Thud, thud. The first bomb explodes 50 yards in front of the Humvee. Boom! The second bomb hits the Humvee's front wing. Boom! The explosion rips through the Humvee, causing it to crash into the bomb crater ahead. The truck tips forward and skids onto its side. Small fires break out as it begins to burn. Black, acritic smoke drifts upward. Matt jumps up and down. "Yes! Buried it! We freaking buried it, man!" Books spots the Japanese quad 100 yards out. It is level with the container and closing in fast. "Incoming, to the right!" Books points out the Japanese quad. The container no longer protects the Americans. Their steel shield is about to be breached. They see the quad. "We've got company!" Jim grabs Sophia and pulls her behind the cover of the Humvee. The rest of the Americans desperately scramble for a hiding place. They fumble for their weapons. Books stands up. He brings up his sniper rifle and lines up the Japanese quad. It moves too fast for him to target. The quad's passenger fires a hail of shots at Books. A bullet smashes into Books' rifle scope. The scope explodes from the impact, and small shards of shrapnel pepper Books' face and chest. The blast's shockwave leaves him disoriented. He stumbles and falls backwards. The back of his head bounces off the container's roof. He's knocked out cold. The Japanese quad reaches the container. It cuts through the middle of the Americans. They duck and dive for cover. Lloyd jumps up and runs into the open. He shouts and pleads at the Japanese quad. "No, no, please! This is madness! We don't want to fight!" A bullet hits Lloyd in the shoulder. He's thrown back against the Humvee. He screams in pain. "Ah!" Blood pumps from his shattered shoulder wound. Nevada runs to help Lloyd. She is 5 yards from Lloyd when a bullet slams into her upper thigh. She runs on, then collapses. She drags herself toward Lloyd and grabs him. They hold on to each other, then scramble toward the safety of the Humvee. More bullets, more close calls. Nevada's femoral artery is pumping blood. She screams, "I'm God! They got me! My leg is bleeding real bad!" "Hold on," Lloyd says. "We can make this." With one last superhuman effort, the wounded pair tumble into the back of the Humvee. Their bloody bodies slither and slide across its metal floor. They come to a rest in opposite corners of the cabin. They pant, sweat, and bleed. They look over at each other's wounds to compare whose body is the most fucked up. Jim and Cutter pick up their M16s and blast at the quad as it races away. They miss. It's a battlefield chaos. Jedi shouts above the din. "Books is down!" Sophia shouts back. "Nevada? With Lloyd. He's in the Humvee. Both of them are hit." "Shit!" Sophia yells at Jedi. "You, take out that fucking quad!" Then to Matt, "You go look after the blonde." Sophia ducks down as more small arms fire blitzes in from the stranded Japanese Humvee. She moves to the side of the container, takes cover, and returns fire.